Chapo. All I wanna be is El Chapo. $3 billion in pesos. All I wanna be is El Chapo.
Greetings, friends. It's Chapo. Thursday, April 21st. It's Matt and I today. Felix is off for today, but fear not. Joining us, pinch hitting for Felix from Come Town, it's our good friend, Adam Friedland. Adam, once again, how you doing?
I'm good. I was just telling Will before that I saw Ambulance last night. I think it might be the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Adam, I seriously, I agree. Ambulance was comprehensively the most fun I've had in a movie theater in a long time.
It
I
it
loved
felt that way too. I said that walking out. I haven't gone to the cinema and just felt a thrill like that in so long.
Yeah, no, I seriously, one of my biggest pet peeves is people who applaud at the end of movies because, guess what,
Yeah.
asshole? None of the actors, filmmakers are here tonight, but I swear to God, I clapped at the end of Ambulance because
Yeah,
I was so happy.
After the landing of a plane.
It
It felt that way. It felt like there was so much turbulence. And really it's so beautiful that they've given Michael Bay drone technology because he can go even more Bay now. It's just it's a match made in heaven. The way those drone shots work and the camera is never still.
Oh God,
And
yeah, he's a genius, and like I said, most of the drone shots were in the first third of the movie, so I figured he crashed all of the drones that he was given or ran out of money or something. But yeah, what he does with drone camera work is because they've done drone camera work in movies, I've noticed that before, but the way Bay does it is just he's doing a kamikaze fucking pilot
it's
suicide
so
mission
sick.
run.
It's so sick. Yeah, it feels like an event movie that you have to see in a cinema. I'm not being paid by Michael Bay right now, but I just couldn't get over it. I think I found out afterwards that it's the new Morpheus from the second Matrix or from the fourth Matrix, I guess. But
Yes, he is.
the
He is.
Matrix
He is the hero of the movie. Will Sharp.
yeah,
And
I love it.
Gyllenhaal in complete manic weirdo mode, which is really his
He is-
strongest suit.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong. It felt so real.
So that's just a little Chapo movie corner for you.
You don't have. Yeah, I don't want to.
Adam and I both give 2 thumbs up to Michael Bay's Ambulance.
Oh my God, run don't walk.
If you're tuning into this show right now, you already know what we're doing the podcast on today. Because look, when I program the show, or what are we going to talk about? You pick up the news stories that you think work the best, but sometimes, the course of human events smiles on me personally and the show in a way that is unprecedented. I'm speaking, of course, about Rod Dreher's getting divorced. In a shocking twist, a man who has been living in Hungary by himself for a year, basically curating a cadre of young male grad students, his wife is divorcing him.
Who could have seen it coming? They seem so happy.
Wait, so he's running a monastery. He has young monks.
No,
that
that's
he's
just it.
training?
He's not doing that. He's just
Yeah.
hanging out. He's eating oysters with Orban orbiters or Orbanitors.
Orban. Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember one of the last times we talked about Rod on the show. He's been living by himself in Budapest for a year now. And I think the last Rod post we did, or one of the more recent ones, it was just I was taking a cab home with a young grad student friend of mine, and he explained in in heartbreaking terms how Blue's Clues is indoctrinating children into becoming trans or something like that, or the famous oyster photo of him in Budapest soy facing at the oysters, and it's imagine being Rod's wife, where your husband back in America, taking care of the kids, and I think his kids are college age or whatever. It's not like they're running around the house, but dog, when your wife sees you soy facing and having oyster lunches with young men in Budapest, while you're back in America, it's living by yourself. It's dude, it's curtains for you. She contacted the attorney that day, so. I gotta say, when I saw the news that Rod was getting a divorce, and that he announced it in a post on his blog at American Conservative titled "Tears at Golgotha," I swear to God, this is the closest I've ever come to calling an emergency podcast recording. This is like when the Mueller report dropped. For me, like this is like the Mueller report. Like this is breaking news that like is so attuned to like my interests, and because I've been a long time Rod head, and this Rod news is spectacular. So let's just dive into the post here. I'll just say right off the bat, titling the post announcing your divorce by referencing the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is so fucking tight.
Look, he just happened to be at Golgotha crying. He's not making any kind of connection to the pain and sacrifice of Christ. He just happened to be at the same place that Jesus cried, crying himself. Total coincidence.
Father, please take this wife from my lips. Yeah, so tears I just thinking of this, the phrase tears at Golgotha, all I can think about is of course Eric Clapton singing a song called Tears at Golgotha. But it's not about his kid crawling out a window, it's about his wife leaving him. Okay, so Tears at Golgotha, Rod Dreher, April 20th, 2022. Rod begins. Some of you will have intuited that given the amount of time I have been spending in Budapest this past year, things have not been well for me at home. You were right. I received an email from Julie last Saturday, the day before I left for Jerusalem, giving me some news. News that occasions this statement, the text of which has been approved by my wife. So this is the wife approved text. It pains me more than I can say to announce that my wife recently filed a petition of divorce, and I have agreed unreservedly to her request for a mutual and amicable parting. While this will come as a great shock to my readers, it will not surprise those who know us best. We are both exhausted from 9 years of excruciating struggle to save this marriage. I can safely say that I have learned through bitter experience the truth of the saying that nobody really knows what goes on in a marriage. We've agreed that I won't be talking in public about the circumstances leading up to the divorce. That would be unfair to her because she has no platform and cruel to our children who remain our greatest concern. I can say, and she has approved everything in this statement, that, and again, this is italicized, that infidelity was never, ever an issue on either side. There is plenty of blame on both sides, but we'll have the rest of our lives to think about that. So, have to be clear, the wife approved sex, infidelity on either side was not the cause of this divorce. Continuing on, he says, that's it. That's all we feel comfortable with me saying. Please pray for us and our children. As I mentioned, this news came to me just before I left to spend Orthodox Holy Week in Jerusalem, worshiping and doing a little research for my next book. You can now understand why I have been posting so little since the weekend and spending so much time this week praying at the actual hill of Golgotha inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It feels to me that evil has won. I must believe that there will be resurrection.
Evil, settle down, man. Happens to everybody. Literally.
It's a cool church. I've been there. It's a pretty badass place. A lot of bells, a lot of smells. A lot of incense. A place where you could think about a woman doing you wrong for sure. It's cool though also because that church is like divided by like there's every sect of I think it's Eastern Orthodox Christianity has like a little different corner. So there's like an Assyrian Orthodox section and stuff. It's so funny that he's crying about his wife there. It's hilarious. Like next to Japanese tourists. They're on like a they're on like a Sheldon Adelson funded like propaganda trip. Like it's very funny.
They're like, oh yeah, like could you I'm sorry, like a crying beardo in the corner. Do you mind if my wife takes a photo with you?
Yeah, can you take a picture for us? Yeah. There's some guy trying to this is where they laid down Christ and asking him for a picture. And he's like tearing his shirt like a man in mourning. That's great.
It feels to me that evil has won.
Very
and
cinematic.
Also, yeah. Also, like he said, like this will come as a shock to my readers. Again, I am a close Rod reader. This is the least shocking news I have ever read in my life. And all right, so continuing on, he says, I will continue posting close to normal.
Of course.
I believe. I mean, that I believe.
That,
yes.
the real first love. I'll
Even
never get
though-
divorced from posting. That's my promise.
I will continue posting close to normal, even though it's going to seem jarring to you with me blogging about news events and cultural trends after disclosing this crisis. I ask you to withhold judgment. Remember that writing is how I deal with pain. When I travel, sometimes I meet people who tell me they can't understand how I write so much. This torment. This torment for my wife and me has been going on since 2013. Let the reader understand. You will not be surprised to learn that I have turned off comments on this thread. I know that there will be countless people who will be delighted to learn of my suffering. Correct. Once again, Rod is on point with that observation. I can't do anything about that, and besides, nothing they say can be worse than the fact of all this. All I can do is pray that they never have to endure what my wife and I have endured and are enduring. Honest to God, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Wow, that's
So,
sad.
I like that he says, like, I turned off comments for this post because too many people would be gloating about, the fact that I've like spent my entire career condemning other people for getting divorced or saying that divorce is never an option, and then also mostly claiming that gay people will undermine the institution of marriage, and just generally being a hectoring scold about the sex lives and relationships of other adults. I think he turned off the comments because he knows that the majority of people responding into it would be his own fans taking him to task for submitting to like the judgment of a secular court. I mean, yeah,
he's cafeteriaing it right now. Although I don't know. I actually don't know if the Orthodox are as jihadist about divorce as the Catholics are.
What is his readership at this point beyond you guys? Like, who likes
Shut-ins,
this
I
shit?
think.
It's not cool to like be smart and conservative anymore, right? I thought Trump killed that shit. I guess he has like 12. It's like you guys sunning him, and then like 12 like nerds, or like is it the young kids that are all religious now?
I mean, it's hard for me to imagine who like the average Rod Dreher fan is, but I think you're right. I think like being the smart bow tie guy conservative has lost its purchase, but like
Tucker doesn't even do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't think Rod's ever...
like that's you can't just be like if you look at here at the Laffer curve, you can't like be talking about policy in that respect. But if you want to get like mystical and shit, that's still there's plenty of territory there.